Welcome back to Working Title, the Emerald Knight Part 2. Since my first video, I have taken to naming the book. I mean, it's in the title of the first video, but I couldn't figure out what to name the book until much later, right before I started uploading the first two. But its name will become clear as we move on through the story. Like I said, it was inevitable. It became inevitable for me to start thinking about this project outside of when I was working on it. Like I said in the first video, I only wanted to work on this as I was working on it, when I sat down to work on it, but, well, you know, silly me. Anyway, I will say about this session that I struggled with figuring out what was going to happen next. Several times I felt like I was getting close to writing myself into a corner, and especially with how I ended this session. But we'll get to that later. But I just, with what was, with where I left things off last time, you know, in need and in want of details, I focused a lot on that this session. And I noticed that, watching the recording, I noticed that whenever I insert detail, I tend to make long sentences, really just sentences that run on too often. And I will try and be more conscious of that in the future. But then again, you know, this is the rough draft, and you know, I can't always focus on that sort of thing. The rough draft is, you know, getting the ideas out of your system and onto the page, you know. That's the purpose of the rough draft. It's only when you go back to revise, however many times you want, do you clean it up and refine it. But yeah, whenever I, like this man who emerged from the alleyway, or between a couple of buildings, it's not exactly a city, it's a village. Like this man, I just came up with him. Okay, let's just put him in. And then I got concerned with, like, okay, I need to explain him and, you know, add detail about him, what's going on with him. And the sentence, I mean, it's not a bad sentence, but, like, I feel like I spent a little too long on it, you know, trying to figure out a clean way to put this man into the story. It would still need revision, but, you know, this part right here, I tried to insert a little detail about magic, that, you know, there is a limit, like an energy limit on it, a little further back up. I tried to insert it, force it into the detail about the bronze guards, the invading soldiers, setting the whole town on fire. But it just didn't work with the pacing, so I just cut it out entirely and kept the wording the same. This whole situation where they're being taken into the town square, being cornered in their own town, it was part of the struggle before I even sat down to write it. Before I recorded it, I trying to figure out what was going to happen next, and this is what I came up with. Not bad. Good job, me. But every step of the way, I was just struggling with details, adding details, like this right here. Like, it's sort of kind of a flashback of what this space means to Aranthis. Not quite sure if it fits with the pacing or the moment, but it's in there. And getting a little complicated with the structure of the sentence, adding so much, you know. The knight statue, that was added last second. Like, oh wait, in the last session, she prayed to the knight. Well, I guess let's personify the knight into a deity, and that's what's in the middle of the town square, is this statue of the embodiment of night, or their interpretation of night, holding up the moon and made of feldspar. At least that was the first material to come to mind, that would sparkle like stars, right? I didn't include that detail in, you know, the sparkling like stars, because I didn't think about it at the time, but I thought, right here, feldspar. I just thought feldspar, okay, that's a rock. Only later did I realize, oh wait, like, that's, you know, not bad, because it sparkles like stars. Yeah, good job. But yeah, they see night as something, or someone, or something to be loved instead of feared. So let's see. There was a moment, I don't know if it's passed already, but as I was editing the video without the commentary, I saw a moment where the sentence was like, here's another moment where I try to force a lot of detail into the moment, but there was a moment that, it was with the man, when we first noticed the man coming out of the alleyway with the children in his arms. Aranthis noticed a man come out of the alleyway out of the corner of her eye, and then the next sentence was, she noticed flames licking over the tops of the buildings. That could have been simplified and be worded something to the effect of, you know, she noticed him out of his corner of her eye, and then the next sentence could just get rid of she noticed entirely, and just describe the flames licking over the buildings. So, it's just something that can be cleaned up. But again, it's the rough draft, so I can't be too hung up about that right now. And also, I don't know if I'm going to revise this whole thing. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen with it, but I want to try and keep it going for a while, at least. And here's where okay, so a little something about my formatting, those parentheses right there. I will often use parentheses to like fence off a sentence or word or phrase or something, because I just don't know how to word it or what word to use in that moment. And it was late at night when I was doing this, and I didn't have any idea how to word the sentence at the time, so I just fenced it off. So whenever you see parentheses from me, it's not always like right here, the thing that's like a comb, like a rooster's comb. That thing on the, I still don't know what it's called, I didn't look it up. That thing that's like on the Spartan helmets, made out of horsehair, whatever. And all this description of armor and such is on the spot. It's just in the moment, like, okay, what does this armor look like? Let's have it resemblant of their culture in some way or fashion. And the whole, I noticed earlier as well, the serpent swallows the moon week by week. I thought about that earlier, and I'm like, wait a minute. The moon's phases go by every month, not every week. And then I thought, well, it's a fantasy world, so maybe the moon's really fast, so maybe we'll just keep it like that, it's fine. Oh, and here's where we end, right here. I have no idea what I'm going to do after this. I'm stuck right now, and I gotta freaking write. I gotta sit down for another couple hours and write something. And I don't know what to do. But that's it. Thank you for watching.